This is me. And this is the love of my life and partner in crime. 2 years ago, we traded our stable corporate lives for more adventurous and sustainable lives as digital nomads at sea. Follow along as we discover new places and build our businesses one anchorage at a time.
Welcome back to a new episode. This time we are going back on land. So after 2 years it's time to haul out for tuna again to do the antifouling. And this year we searched long for the perfect paint and we found a sustainable choice, and let's see how it works.
Michael getting angry with all about
Speeding like we are in a channel and in front of a bridge. We need to go through the bridge. Basically they are opening it and it's a very narrow passage. There's a lot of wind, so we have about 22 knots, so it will be fun to, yeah.
We made it to the boatyard. There's Fortuna. This is the crane who's going to lift her up. Fingers crossed, everything goes well. Yeah, Simon is just at the top right now and likes the wind. And obviously nothing can always go straight the first time. This time the crane decided to take a break. Luckily they quickly fixed it and we were still able to get Fortuna out of the water. It's just getting every minute more tense. Drop on the back.
And black everywhere.
Ooh.
We got some rust spots on the keel. So you have to get rid of those, basically scrape everything off, sand it, and then, yeah, put some
Obviously,
epoxy on it.
on the most uncomfortable position you could ever have on a boat, like underneath the keel. It's almost done.
Worst days.
So she's standing on 2 blocks now. It's already something. We're going to pressure wash her and nicely clean. And yeah, then she gets all her other legs.
So, overall it looks quite good. We have a few rust spots on the keel. We still have to get a few tools, but more or less we found everything. One anode is missing. From now on it's just like scratching, scraping, sanding. All over again. For 2 or 3 days probably. Before we start sanding, we scrape the uppermost layer off. Basically all the wet part you take off with the scraper. You have to take care of the edges and to keep it steady, but it doesn't need a lot of force, so it's somewhat the most comfortable part before the sanding.
Not too.
And you basically can scrape off the uppermost thin layer, and then you sand the lower layer, no matter if it's anti-fouling or primer. And then depending on the compatibility, you can just apply the primer on the lower level. Here we had like black outer layer and then blue anti-fouling and then a gray primer basically. We will take off the black, which is the wet part, because it was already activated in water. Scrape it, sand the blue part then basically, and then wash it down with soap, water, and then primer.
On the boatyard here, and we are already full in progress. Michael is currently sanding down the old anti-fouling paint. We already went on our quest against the rust. We actually applied the same silicone that we applied for our through hull yesterday. If you're currently wondering which through hull I'm talking about, no worries, in the next episode we will share all those boat jobs we did on the Heart which have nothing to do with anti-fouling. We applied it also now around the keel. This one should prevent further rust development on that area. We first sanded down everything so that it is nice and safe.
A friend gave us some citric acid. Basically we spray it on all the rust spots we have. It immediately forms a thin film and we can scrape it clean. Everything turns black. Do that like 2 times. Then we can put some epoxy primer on top of it. The keel is very white at the bottom. Basically it's like 2 components, and if it's not rusted like more than a few centimeters, you don't have any problems and don't need to worry at all. Basically treat it, prime it, anti-fouling on top, and we should be good for a few years. we treated everything with acid and rinsed it and cleaned it again, we are applying the epoxy primer and then another layer and then the normal antifouling primer and paint.
Today is
Painting day.
painting day, finally! We finished scraping, sanding, preparing, taping, and now it's final time to do the fun part. Super flüssig. For the primer we went for the 015 C-Jet, which is the right one if you are currently changing antifouling like we did. And just like that, under the strict supervision of the captain, I took my first paint strokes, the first of very many to come. Okay guys, the first layer is on, which is the primer. Unfortunately it started to rain already twice. Hopefully it's the last rain we are getting today, because it's not really the best. While the primer is drying, I quickly want to talk to you about the antifouling that we have chosen. This time we took a little bit more time to choose the right antifouling. There's so many different types out there and it can be really tricky. For us, like in so many other decisions, we want to try to put the eco-sustainability at our toppest priority. This is why in the end we decided to choose this antifouling. It's a C-Jet 38 Taisho. So it is for salt water and it is a self-polishing antifouling type. So which means that with time the antifouling will kind of slip off and with it take away all the animals that are on there. What is different to more traditional abrasive paints like copper paint or the more typical one like the one we also have on or had on now is that this kind of paint is based on Econea, and Econea should be a composition of chemicals which should hopefully not harm as much as copper or as other more traditional antifoulings, the marine life. So as you know, we love marine life, we love scuba diving, we love living in the ocean, we love living with the ocean, we love to eat from the ocean as we love fishing a lot. So we want to take care about this amazing ecosystem that is the ocean. This is why we decided to go with this paint. We also decided to go for the biocide-free version for the propeller. So the propeller actually always needs a separate antifouling because it's obviously not fiberglass like the rest of the boat. This year we have also chosen a very nice color. The positive thing also of this new chemical version or this new Econea is that you can have a lot more colors, which might be not so important for marine life but can be more fun for us. So we decided to go for something a little bit more colorful. Last year, or our last paint was black, which looked super sleek, but this time we wanted to go a little bit more colorful. But I'm not going to say it right now, you'll have to wait to the end of the video to see it. When you apply antifouling, you normally apply at least 3 layers, and you try to choose different colors for the layers so you know when it starts to wear down. So we decided that our last layer, so the one we are going to apply first, is going to be dark blue. So whenever our more colorful first and second layer are going to wear down, we will start to see blue, and now it is time to take out Fortuna and redo the antifouling. Because it wouldn't be would not rain one more time while we apply antifouling. And this time it's really bad. The whole rain situation was a bit annoying as we had some time pressure to finish at least the first layer of antifouling in order to be then able to move the stands on which Fortuna is standing. Obviously Fortuna cannot float, so she's standing on 7 different legs currently. But we obviously need to treat also the areas on which she's standing. So the plan was to actually get the first layer finished today, so then they could move the stands and we would be able to do the parts that were not treated yet. Unfortunately, it did not work out as expected, but it will be working also like that.
For our propellers, we have some special antifouling, both thruster and rear propeller, primer and hardener. Let it dry, 2 coats, and then another 2 or 3 coats of the actual antifouling. And it should be speedy. Let's see.
We are ready, guys. After working for 7 days straight, we are finally ready to present to you the new, the gracious, the beautiful, colorful Fortuna. And yes, she's red! I have to be honest, it was totally Michael's courage to go for this color. I was not really sure about it, but I do like it a lot, so we still have to apply one last coat. You see, will be even more red. But about this and a lot of more boat works in the next episode, where we will wrap up everything that has happened here on the boatyard. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give us a like and a comment if you would like to help us grow and if you enjoyed it. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe. See you all in the next episode. Bye!